Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be trying out some new products. Some are new to the market, some are just new to me. Let's just go ahead and get into it. And spoiler alert, there are a lot of hits. So the first thing I want to test is this ColourPop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balm. This comes in a variety of shades, but I got the one in Strawberry Milk. The packaging is very similar to the Summer Fridays Butter Balm, I think it's called. Slightly thinner, longer squeezy tube. And the most similar thing about it actually is the applicator goes up at an angle, but it has a slight dip in it to hug the lips. So it makes applying the product really comfortable actually. I've tried this once and I thought it made my lips feel really nice. It smells like strawberry candy. It's not sticky. It gives a slight tint, but this shade in particular is not very pigmented. I'm not sure about the other shades, but this one seems to be very natural. It's not maybe as thick as the Summer Fridays, but it feels like a really good formula so far. I'm gonna have to keep using it regularly to see how it makes my lips feel, but so far, I really like it. I don't have a new foundation or concealer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pop those two products on, and then we'll go ahead and apply the bronzer, highlight, and blush. For foundation, I just used my Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint, and then I mixed two concealers, both from Revlon, the Glimmer Brightening Concealer and the Revlon Flex Wear Full Coverage Concealer, just to get a more close to my skin tone shade. I'll link everything I used down below. I also went ahead and set my brows with my Physicians Formula Butter Brazilian Brow Lift Brow Gel. That's a long name, but I do have a brow pen to try. This one is from L'Oreal, their Faux Brow Up to 2-Day Brow Tint Pen. Wow, I didn't know it was supposed to last that long. The cool thing about this one is that it sort of has like a little, I don't know, almost looks like a bug. They look like little pincers, and I think it's supposed to make filling in your brows a lot quicker because you do 2 hairs at once instead of 1. Let's give it a whirl. Excuse my shaky hands and arms. I had a lot of caffeine. So if there are areas where you don't want to go in with the 2, you can turn it over to the side and just use one of the little prongs, which is nice. So like out here on my tail, it's pretty thin, so I don't want to go in with both prongs, so I'm just going to try to use it on the side there. It seems pretty pigmented. You just have to kind of shake it to re-wet the applicator. One thing I don't love about it is that if I make 2 little hairs and then I kind of want to go in a different area, it's easy to overlap the same place again, and then it makes a really thick brow hair. I just feel like it's getting more thick than like fluffy. Usually with a brow pen I can keep things a little bit more light, whereas this one I feel like I'm getting a lot of pigment and a lot of little hairs that are getting thicker and thicker. But it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely getting the job done. Not my best brow day, but oh well. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna see if I can like spoolie through it to soften it up a bit because it's a little harsh right now. Let's move on to highlight. I have this liquid highlighter actually from LA Colors. I got this at my local dollar store. This is their Let's Get Away Highlighter in Sunburst. Sponge tip applicator. Lightly dot or swipe on areas to highlight. That's all it says. A little pop of highlight will keep you glowing. All right, let's give it a try. I think there might have only been 2 shades of this, which sucks. The sponge looks super thin and kind of rough, but let's give it a swatch. Ooh. Okay, wait, but that actually looks really pretty. I thought it was going to be really glittery and chunky and gross and dry, but it looks more natural than I was expecting, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes it's nice to have like a lit from within kind of glow. Let's try tapping it in with our finger. I think that looks really pretty. It didn't seem to lift anything underneath. No glitter, no sparkle, and it's just a really natural highlighter, but really pretty. I'm actually impressed, very impressed. It kind of reminds me of a liquid version of the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This would be also really nice to mix in with a matte liquid blush if you wanted to give it a little bit of a glow. I think that's gorgeous. If you can find a shade that works for you and you know, have $1.25 to spare, this might actually be worth a try. For blush, we have two options. One is the little Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Face Trio from Morphe. I've actually already tried this formula before, but I had a different shade. Originally, I had the one in Beach Bonfire. I loved the formula so much that I wanted to get another one, and this one is in Après Ski. Very bright and poppy and pink. This palette is very reminiscent of the One Size blush palettes, but a key difference is that this one from Morphe actually has two creams, whereas the One Size only has one cream and two powders. You get a cream blush, a cream blush lighter slash highlight, and then a powder blush. The packaging on these little Morphe palettes is really, really nice. You get a little flap to keep your creams nice and clean, and then the front little door is the same color as the general color story, so you know what you're reaching for. You don't have to open it up every single time, which is nice. I also have this little product, which is very reminiscent of the Milk Jelly Water Tint, which is one of my favorite everyday go-to blushes. I have tried this once before, and I have thoughts. I have some thoughts. The packaging, the little stopper, identical. The texture is very, 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 very similar to the Milk. I think I'm going to do a short comparing these two. So if you are interested in seeing the MCO Beauty Bouncy Jelly Tint Cheek and Lip stain compared to the Milk one, then definitely stay tuned for that. So today I am going to use the Morphe Cheek Thrills palette in Après Ski. I'm going in first with the cream blush. These cream blushes are pigmented, but they can blend out really easily, and you can build them up as well very easily. These creams actually do layer quite well over powder as well, if you like to set your face first. Okay, and then I want to just take a tiny bit of the blush lighter. While swatching it, this one I found was a little bit more sparkly than the other palette that I tried, but I think it's really pretty. If you don't like sparkle though, I don't think this particular palette or this shade of this one will be for you. I would recommend going in store and swatching it because some are more pigmented than others, some are more shimmery than others. And this one almost has a little bit of a lavendery blue flip. So it's very pretty and iridescent, but you just kind of have to be wanting that look. After we set, I'll go in with the powder blush. First, I want to use this liquid blush from Physicians Formula though. This is their Butter Glow Liquid Bronzer. I've used this once and I remember really liking it, but I need to keep testing it and solidify my thoughts on it. This is just a little sample size I got. I think there's only one shade in this, just bronze, which stinks because that's not going to work for everyone. But you can see it's not a super liquidy or serum-y consistency. It's a little thicker. It's got a very neutral undertone, I would say. And it has that, what I think is a really nice smell. It has that traditional Physicians Formula coconutty scent. Look how easily this just blends and diffuses on the skin. It's really nice. It's not patchy, it's not hard to blend. It just literally melts in right away. So it's a really nice formula. I think the full size is quite humongous, so it might be really nice to mix in with a foundation that's too light for you as well. Physicians Formula knows how to make a bronzer. They don't know how to have an inclusive shade range, but they do know how to make a bronzer. I don't have a new powder, but I do have this new powder puff from Morphe that I wanted to show you guys. I recently picked this up at Ulta because they had a bunch of new brushes, which I should have used for my cream blush. I totally forgot. I have used this before and it is really nice, very soft, and it just looks super sleek. And I love the shape of it because it's a little denser, but it kind of has this ovally shape, which I love for cream, blush, and bronzer. The powder puff I picked up because I originally had the Beauty Blender one, and my dog ate it. So I had to get a new one, and this is really soft, very squishy. It's a little small, but I kind of like that for getting into really precise areas. So I'm just going to use it with you guys on camera. I like to swirl it into my powder, and then I kind of just tap off the excess on the back of my hand. Make sure it's nice and smooth evenly applied as best as I can on the puff. And then I just press it into my skin. This is one of my holy grail powders, the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Blurring Under Eye 1000-year name powder. It is one of the best, most smoothing powders I've ever tried. It's expensive, but honestly, this has lasted me a really long time because I just use it under my eyes mostly and in my T-zone. But I mean, like, my pores are erased. And this powder puff is amazing. I set the rest of my face with my e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Setting Powder, and you can see it's a combination of that powder and also just the formula of these Morphe blush lighters. They are able to peek through powder once you set it. Even when I set this with the powder blush, you're still gonna be able to see that shine through there. So I'm just gonna take a little fluffy brush, also from Morphe, and a little bit of that powder pink blush. I don't really need any more blush, but I just want to show you guys all the formulas. It's a really, really, really beautiful palette, I have to say. It's a little pricey, but you get 3 different products and they all work well independently and together. So if you can find a color store you like and maybe get a little discount, I highly recommend these little palettes. So I'm going to do something pretty simple on the eyes, but I do want to use this retro palette from Natasha Denona. This is not a new palette of hers. She's had this out for at least a couple years, I believe, but I recently got my hands on it. You know, it's not a color story I traditionally will go for. It's definitely more purpley pinky, but in lieu of my new hair, I think it's quite fitting. So let's do a little something something. I've tried Natasha Denona's Retro Glam palette, the green pinky one. Or is it just the retro? I can't remember. Oh, this is the retro. The retro glam is the more pinky one. I'll show you. So yeah, I've tried the retro palette before and I do like this one, but it's not a color store I reach for every single day. I wish it could go a little bit deeper if I'm being completely honest. It's a very light color story overall. But this one seems to have a good amount of depth, so let's give it a whirl. Let's start with the shade Nude Mauve. Whoa. About how pigmented her eyeshadows are. And I'm just working that into the crease as our little transition shade. It is aptly named. It is a nude mauve. It's got a little bit of a purpley grayish undertone. I'm gonna put that under my eye as well. On the outer corner, let's take Amara, which seems like a more slightly warmer rosy purple. I'm just pressing that on this outer corner. Trying to get it pretty close to the lash line and then connect it to the crease. That's a really pretty shade, but I think because of the blush, I should probably stick to the more cool tone options. So I'm actually going to go over that with Groove, which is a deeper but slightly more neutrally purple, it seems like. Yeah. So again, I'm just kind of taking it down at an angle on this outer corner and then kind of doing a backwards 7 shape, connecting it into that crease. The one in the center of the palette is definitely calling my name. It's called Psychedelic. Ooh, that is so pretty. I did apply my NYX glitter glue off camera just because I didn't want to get any fallout since we already have the base completed. What a pretty ethereal ballerina sparkle. It's not a metallic, it's a very, very, very fine shimmer, but you still get a bit of a base color. Sometimes the fine shimmers can end up being more of a topper. I think you could shear this out to be more of a topper, but you can see it does have enough pigment on its own to stand alone. Really pretty. For the inner corner, let's take this gorgeous strawberry milk color. It's a really, really light pink. It's almost white, honestly, but that is going to be the perfect inner corner highlight for me. For mascara, I just used my Lancome Monsieur Big Waterproof Black Mascara. This has been one of my favorite mascaras of the year, honestly. I hate that I love it because it's so expensive, but it is just so good. And for tight lining, I just used my Sephora collection 12-hour colorful crayon in black lace. Juvia's Place recently launched these longwear lip liners. I am a sucker for a longwear lip liner. If you know, you know. I have tiny little lips, so I need something that's going to stay in place. This is very, very creamy, but it does set down like a lot of my favorite formulas. It's very pigmented, as you can see. And the one thing I will say about this lip liner line in general is that there's not a lot of lighter shades. I would personally love it if there was just a couple more light nudes, but that's just me. This one is in So Rare. Sorry, my kitty wanted to come up and say hi. He's a good girl. He's a good girl. He's a good girl. Even though this one is a little bit deeper, I just like to go in and then sort of blend it a little bit, and I can make it work for me. It's really hard to apply lip liner with a kitty cat on your lap. If I could only pick 3 makeup items to wear for the rest of my life, it would be, ooh, that's tough. Lip liner, brow pencil, and a blush. Tempted to say concealer, but I think I need blush even more than concealer, honestly. Okay, so for lips, that ColourPop Glossy Lip Balm left my lips feeling very, very hydrated. So far so good on this one. I really like the smell, I like the packaging, and I think the formula is really nice. I have 2 more pink sparkly options. e.l.f. launched these a couple months ago. These are their Glow Reviver lip oils, but the glimmer finish. And this one in Princess Cut looks so pretty. I love a good glimmery lip gloss. I also have this one from NYX. This is the Fat Oil Slick Click. I can never say that. This one looks a little bit too Barbie pink for my taste. Yeah, I think that's just a little too fuchsia hot pink, but maybe for a different look. It could be fun for a springtime look, but it's more lip focused. Today, I think I'm just gonna stick with the e.l.f. lip oil. I already know that I love the NYX Slick Click pens. My favorite shade is Going Viral. That's like the perfect everyday shade for me. It's a really beautiful glossy lip balm formula that is not too pigmented and not too creamy, so it doesn't slip and slide everywhere. The doe foot applicator is really nice, and they smell like mint. Nice and thick, but not sticky and not gritty. So yeah guys, that completes this video testing some new makeup products. I think we had a lot of winners in this video actually. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.